Welcome to the channel. I am Mike. I am here to just play through Elden Ring. You've seen a lot of YouTubers out there that do walkthroughs and they kind of cover the game fully. They go in every crack and crevice, give you every item. That's not me. I'm doing this for bare minimum, just what's needed to get through the game, the important things to do that you need to do to get to the game. It's not a speed run. I'm not showing you how to get through it as fast as possible. I'm just showing you what is necessary. So it's not going to be completely just me uh, going through as quick as I can. It's going to be, oh, okay, check here. There's going to be an item. Um, so we're going to do this new game right here. This next page, it will show you all the different options for the characters that you have. So you could go through and you could select what you want. There's a lot of them, a lot of different classes, character bases that they call them in this game. That you can go and become. If you want to go the hardest route, you go Wretch. They don't have anything. But again, you go through, find what you like. I am going to go with the Samurai build just because I like the Uchi Katana that it comes with. I believe I'm type A. That's what people have told me. So my name is Buddha Mike. Okay. And then my body type's A. If you want to do different types, you can. Um, I think it's just male, female. Uh, my age, I'm just going to set to matured, just because I can't see anything on the voice. Origin Samurai, keepsake. So now you can have all these different options to start the game with that, some of them you might value more, some of them you might not. But at the top of this little window, it tells you exactly what it is and what it does for you. Um, Playing through the game enough times. This is I can't even tell you how many times through. I'm probably going to go with the Stone Sword key just because it's easier to get into different room or different dungeons that you want to have. You can eventually pick up pretty much everything on this list. The golden seeds are what levels up your flask. That would be a good pick. So would the amber medallion that increases your health. Um, Everything else it just kind of gives you runes. It's just these different items. Read through them, do what you want. I want to pick the stone sword key. That's just personal preference. I'm gonna just kind of choose a base one. I'm not gonna go through and do too much on my build here. Uh, yeah, I want to go northerner, just because I am a northerner over here in New York. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. I'm not gonna bother rebuilding the character every detail, so don't waste your time or mine. So here's the entrance and the beginning.
tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Oralu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless, a tarnished of no renown. Cross the fall to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring, and become the Elden Lord.
There we go. Pretty epic entrance. So here's the starting area. The Ring of Michaela. I don't even know how I pronounce it. The ring. The first one is because this is post DLC, and I do have the DLC. I'm gonna come over here, pillage the remains, get my Tarnis wizened finger. There's nothing else to do in here. I would just go out the door, open. That's just the church. Whatever you want to see back there, you can. That's the only item of importance. So you can run down here, go over to this side. Again, you can do exploring if you want on the side. I'm going to kind of just cut through the game. I will say real quick before we enter the area, the controls, left stick is to run around, the right stick is to aim and change the camera. A is to jump, which is a mechanism that we didn't have in previous Dark Souls games, which was kind of nice to have here. B is to back up or to roll when you're fighting. It's also to sprint when you're running if you hold it down. Y will be, we will use later. Same with X, we will also use later. As you see, he can't do that. It correlates with that bottom left of our screen where you see the bow in my left hand, the Uchikatana in my right. When you press Y, you will read the messages if you're on them or like interact with the door. It's all up to you. When you attack, you will have two different ways you can attack. So I have my left hand and my right hand. Left hand, I have my bow. So if I go and I aim, press LB or L1 if you're on a different controller. You kind of aim, and then to shoot, you would use RB or RT or R1 or R2, depending on the type of arrow that you want to shoot. You can also see them on the bottom left, normal arrows, and I have flaming arrows. I'm not going to shoot those because they're scarce early on in the game, but that's how you fire it. If I were to hold LT, I could kind of make my stance here, walk slow, look for the enemy. If I'm locked on, it does help lock on. If I am back to normal, so I just switched out there, sorry. If I'm trying to attack with the Uchi Katana, I could press RB or R1, and that's a fast attack, just like this. If I press R2 or RT, that's more heavy attack. You could chain these attacks together, so if I just keep repeatedly pressing RT, it does that. Don't button mash in this game. It will hurt you down the line. Button mashing just results in death. One thing you have to keep an eye on, especially for Dex users and people that want to attack constantly, is in that top left corner. That green bar is what your endurance is. When you're in battle, the more you swing, the quicker that goes down. When it's down to nothing, you can't really attack. You can't dodge. You can't roll. pretty much leaving you wide open for attacks and damage. When you do take damage, that red bar at the top is your health. That will go down. Um, Later game, we will show you how to recover that. For now, just keep an eye on it. The blue bar is if you use intelligence or magic, that's your FP. That will go down if you use spells, if you select one of those characters. Now, if you're switching weapons, so if I were to look at my controller, look at the D-pad, if I press the right arrow, it swaps out the right side of that screen in the bottom left. If I press the left arrow, it swaps out the bottom left. Now you see that I have two weapons on the left side. I have the bow and I have a shield. If I press LB or L1, it will block. If you do it the right timing, you can parry with the L2 or LT. I suck at parrying. You will not see me use shields. I will eventually get a second sword. Kind of easy mode with Dex, but that is what I do. Um, you will see I'm also much more of a dodger than I am a shield or a tank. I don't parry. I won't really use intelligence just because this game, um, it's a little bit different using intelligence. And if you did want an easier way to play the game, intelligence is the way to go. I personally just like Dex. I am also going to show you how to two wield right here. So if you hold Y and you press LT, you're going to two hand the left weapon, or I'm sorry, LB. You will press the left weapon, and if you press Y in RB, it will two hand the right handed weapon. So just kind of the right or left side. That's going to correlate. I'm going to just stick with the sword. This boss here, you're not meant to beat him. If you do, good for you. You're special. You would just go through that, and then you'd fall off a cliff and die. Either way, you're going to die. You could try to attack, kind of get used to the whole situation, or you can just take hits and progress the game. Again, you're meant to die here. There's Torrent. You'll meet him later.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
You'll remember her. That's where this episode will end, but we will meet her in this video. Very important character. All right, and there's our flask of Crimson Tears, our flask of Cerulean Tears. Those are flasks you see in the bottom left now. If I switch them out, blue and red. Red is to increase your health when you're hurt. Blue is to increase your FP when it's depleted. I'm not going to use either of those. Now, just like I said, this is going to be kind of like a not really a do everything walkthrough. So items like that up there you see, I'm not going to go for those. You can if you jump down here. This is the tutorial area, Cave of Knowledge. Um, I'm not doing that. I played the game enough. Don't really want to run through there. Not really needed. You will see that these golden trees are around. You will want to find these in the game when you get them because it will get you the golden seeds, which increase your flask. Um, so you're going to come up here, go through the gate. We are skipping that tutorial area, like I said. If you want to go down there, you can. That is up to you. And here we go, our first site of grace. I'm going to touch it. Now we will be able to fast travel here, and if we wanted to, we could rest. So if we went through the tutorial area, we were hurt, we could just rest at the site of grace. Um, and you would go through, you'll pass time, you could increase flash, change your spells, put a chest there, put your items in there. So I want to skip that. I want to pick this up. This is the finger sever, so this is if you are playing co-op or you want to invite somebody, you can use those items. I will stop and get items as we go when I see them. I'm not going to go out of my way completely to get something unless I really want it. Like here in a minute, I'm going to go and pick up a second Uchi Katana. That'll be in another video. But for the time being, I'm just going to continue moving. That lift will bring you up and down. If you are on one of these lifts, look for a lever. So say if this is going down and we don't have it here, you can always come back, pull that lever, and it'll bring it up just like an elevator. For now, we will go through here. This is the aha moment. Super cool. When we first got the game, this was pretty hyped when we walked out here. You got to see it all. If you were a Dark Souls vet and you played a lot of these games, open world Dark Souls is just out of this world. I'm going to also rest here. Now, not everything in this game will attack you. You have NPCs, non-player characters, for those that are unaware. What they are, they're people that you can talk to, you can speak with. Do not fight them. They will fight you back, and they will probably kill you. So this guy right here, Barrow, I think his name is. I'm just also going to keep passing through the conversations and dialogue. Slow it down, pause if you want to read it, but for the most part, I'm just going to skip through most of it. And you always want to talk to these NPCs and completely deplete their dialogue, so you want to keep talking until you have nothing left in there, or they repeat phrases. Maidenless you are, I think is the last. There you go. So now you see that I've depleted it. I could double check. So sometimes if you rest at a site of grace, it will reset your world. So when you kill enemies, when you rest at a site of grace, the enemies come back. Be careful of that. Um, it just resets everything. I want to go back and just make sure I did deplete the dialogue. And I did. So maidenless as you are, last part, I've heard everything. So now we will move. I'm going to grab this real quick, but I'll come back up top. So this is something cool. You can read that if you wanted to. There's items all around. You can pick them up, and they'll tell you what they are. It does help. If you are a person that does co-op, Erd tree or Erd flowers are something that you want to kind of grab as much as you can of. It's good just to have items. Items in your bag don't weigh you down. It's only what you're wearing, what you equip. Now, we're going to move, and it's open world, so that's kind of cool. You can kind of go wherever you want to. You go down there, you go up here. You can travel wherever you want, but a good indicator is if you see a site of grace that has one of these lines of light, it's an indication on the direction where you should go. Now, if you look at your map, you can read that. You see you don't have anything on the map. It's browned out, grayed out, whatever you want to call it. But you have the site of grace because you visited here, and then you have the white mass RA. That's an NPC that's near here. But if you go over here, there's no NPC. You don't have anybody to talk to. Just so you know where they're at. On the map, when you see the site of grace, you'll see that line. That's the direction as well. So if you're looking to go somewhere, you want to travel in this vicinity, and then you will probably reach the next site of grace or the next area that you have to go to. And that's kind of how you know your direction in the game. This is something that the developers put in there, and it's kind of useful. makes it kind of like an easier game. So you'll hear people complaining about, oh, Elden Ring's too easy with like Dark Souls. That it is what you make it. Use whatever you want in the game. It's there for you to use. Don't be one of those. Oh well, if you use intelligence, then you're just using easy mode. They put in the game, and you can use it. It's all up to you. Now, where we're going to that first church over there, or third church in America. We'll see when we get there. It is another set of grace inside. You can see a sheep on that rock, and you can see that guy in the golden armor. He is a check that Elden Ring puts in the game. Don't fight him. If this is your first time through, he will kill you. He is really good. Now, some of you guys that might be better at video games might be able to fight him. It'll take longer, especially at the low level that we are. But I do not recommend it. Instead, I recommend making a nice wide berth around him so you don't have to actually interact with him. He will one-shot you. He will kill you. We'll come back and fight him in the game. This is kind of a reality check that they put in the game for us to say, don't fight everything you come across. And you'll learn that in the game as you go. So we're going to run down here. You see these little white marks on the ground. They're messages from other people. Some of them are useful. Some of them are just dumb. Wise always fingers. Try rump. Funny jokes. They're not really always useful. Don't always listen to them. And if you see one near a clip that says try jumping, I don't recommend it. Most times it is just going to kill you. Now, like I said, I'm making this wide berth. This is that little statue or little ruins that you saw, and then that's the church. And there he is over there. I'm at a safe distance from here. If I got too close, I would aggro him, which means you would get his attention. He'd come after you. Now I'm holding B down. That's my sprint. You will sprint faster if you're not two-handed weapons. So when I'm doing this, it'll go a little bit faster. Not super noticeable, just enough. I'm sorry, not the third Church of America. This is Church Valor. That's an NPC. They're merchants. You'll see them all over the place, different color coats and all that. For now, I am going to hit this site of grace. I'm going to touch it. And in the beginning, rest at the site of grace that you come across, because after a couple of them, you will interact with NPCs. So I'm going to rest here. I don't really need to do anything. I don't have any souls, or I'm sorry, I don't have any runes in the bottom right. Now, these are items, and you can go here, and I'm going to pick this up. The smithing stone. That stone is meant to increase your weapon, so you can actually make it like a +1, +2. Normal weapons go up to +25, and then somber weapons, which you use somber smithing stones, they go up to a +10. In the end, when you get like +10, you need an ancient somber stone. If you go to +25, you need an ancient smithing stone. So you could go around, you could talk to him. He sells items. Not necessary. I'm not doing it. Again, minimal effort walkthrough. This side of grace is telling me to go in that direction. Now, if I look over that direction, I see a path, and there's a soldier walking there. He is going to attack me if I get close. I'm going to go that way. It's good to kind of get your fingers going, so you can kind of get in fights, get used to it, because you will fight everyone. Earlier when I mentioned that herb leaf, that's what this looks like from a distance. If you acquire it, herb leaf flower, you make those. They make herb leaf remedies, which you use to bring friends into the game, co-ops. You fight enemies together. You can do a lot. So now here's a quick breakdown for the bow. I'm not using a bow. I'm just going to use the Ujikatana. Again, I'm a dodger. And what's happening there is as he went to attack, you can see he raised his sword and raised the torch. I beat him to it quicker, and that's what's called stagger break. So when they're in motion to attack and you break that off, you stagger break them. It works a lot. I like to do it in certain situations. Different enemies have different stagger break limits, so some enemies that are harder to stagger, they won't phase when you go to hit, so they'll still swing and hit you. As you see, I'm walking around. I'm just pressing Y as I go. Collects items. Alright, so now I see the soldier here with that. If I wanted to sneak up on him, I could press the left stick, and I'm quiet then. Quieter, I should say. And if I press the right stick, I lock on. You see how that white dot shows up? And sometimes you can sneak up if you go slow enough. and then you can attack them from behind, and it typically will kill them. There we go. Now you saw the white lines that came out from there. Um, that's just an item. So I got these cool gauntlets. Now, if you want to equip it, what you can do when you're in a safe space, because when you're in Elden Ring, even if you press start, it's still moving. People are still in the game, so you can still aggro somebody. So if that soldier's walking towards me and I'm in the start menu, he can attack me while I'm looking at my stuff. So just make sure you're in a safe spot. So I press start. I'm going to go to my equipment, and now it kind of gives me a little breakdown. If I select on this, I could add multiple equipments here, but you want to keep on lookout for that bottom right side where it says equip load. See, I'm 30.3 out of 52.9, and I have low at medium roll. That just means I'm rolling a little bit slower. Now, if I took something like this off, I'd lighten my load, and if I kept taking stuff off, eventually I'm on a light load. So here's what it looks like when you're on a light load, how quick you can roll and dodge. It also reduces your stamina a lot slower, or your endurance a lot slower. Now, if I were to put everything back on, I'm gonna. You can look here. So you have two items. Sorry, sidetracked here. The gauntlets I just picked up, Godric Soldier gauntlets. You can look at all the attributes of damage negation and the resistance. You can kind of compare. You can tell that the Godric Soldier gauntlets are a little bit better than the Land of Reeds gauntlets when it comes to things like the physical damage, negation, and all that. On the right side, the resistance, like immunity, Land of Reeds is much better. Early in the game, you're not going to get as much need for defense against like fire, lightning, and all that, which you see on the left side. You want to kind of look more at like the physical damage, like slash, piercing, strike, and you can decide what you want to put on here. You also decide, which one looks better. I want to keep this just because it is in line with the whole gear, and it is a little bit lighter. So when you see if you're going to switch items in the bottom right where the equip load is, when it's in red, that means that it's going to be heavier. So say I select it, but then if I go over something else lighter, it goes blue. Blue's good, red's bad. And that's also how you can compare in your resistance and your damage negation. So I'm going to wear this. Now I'm on a medium load. So now when I roll, it's slightly slower. Now you could do heavy roll, which I don't think I want to be able to because I don't think I have enough equipment to heavy roll. Um, I will show you in the future. But yeah, I want to keep my equipment on just because defense right now is good. And so I can level up my vitality or my vigor. I'm going to come over here and fight this guy. Now, this is not necessary. I probably shouldn't be doing this for the minimum walkthrough. Got distracted. But yeah, they drop stuff. You can pick it up. Now you go this way, up high instead of going down the path. So the path's over here. I'm running parallel. That guy's sitting on the other side of the path. You'd fight him. You could run through this without fighting anybody, but what's the point of it? It's a video game. You want to fight. Down here, you can see this is sort of like a ruin. There's a camp. There's a guard station down there. You can see this guy that's sitting near the fire. And then in the distance, there's that little statue. I don't know if you can see with the purple hue to it. That's important later. You have a site of grace there. You can hit that. You can go down behind that little caravan. There's one down there. You can see it. This is right there. Um, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to run to this because there's no enemies for the time being. And site of graces are kind of like checkpoints. If you fight something and you die, you go back to the last site of grace you visited. So if you're in a new area like I am here, if I need to go to site of grace, this will recover me. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to sit here and rest. Now, when you rest at the third site of grace, you will get this cutscene.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the
All right,
power
I'm just
of
gonna
serve?
cut through all this dialogue. Great character right here.
With you, I can play turning Wu to aid you. You will go to the foot of.
I accept. Everyone should accept.
Then it's settled. Summon me. I bequeath to you this.
Huge. The spectral steed whistle. That's what we call Torrent, our horse thing, Majigger. Um, Not sure exactly what he is. Looks like a goat with the horse, and he's a spirit.
Use it.
He can jump great.
Traverse great distance. It will summon a spectral steed. Torrent has chosen. Treat him with respect.
That is great. Now, once you met her, you can level up. So that's, if you have.
Shall I turn your wheels to strike? Let my hand rest. Share them with me.
Okay. So that's if you have enough runes. So you see in the top left, I'm 9 to 9. So if I were to change something, if I had enough, I don't because I wasn't really fighting many things. I have 256 runes held right now. The runes needed is 811 to level up. You go through, you can level up each different aspect or this attribute that you have, and you can see what it does if you do increase it in the right side. So something that's like vigor, that only increases the HP. So you see that's kind of highlighted. So if you increase it, it will tell you where it's going to change. I don't have enough runes just yet to do that. Next video, I'll kind of give you a little bit more insight on what you want to do here. But then it also shows you the defense and body. And if you go down to mind, you can see it's FP instead of HP. That's going to be what you use for magic. We'll go through this all fully next time I'm here. So that's it for this video. Join me next time for the no nonsense walkthroughs. Thank you.